Welcome to Razzball Radio, the Fantasy Sports Network. I'm Nick Capozzi, and it's Wednesday, so we're talking injuries and some other shenanigans because I have Vice President of Razzball Shenanigans on board with me today. None other than Mr. Robert Langevin, a.k.a. Smokey. What's up, Smoke Show?
Hey, Nick, what's going on? I felt like I was in trouble. You're just calling me Robert. Usually the only person that does it is my grandmother.
All right. Well, listen, I don't want to mess with Nana. All right.
No.
Hey, you know what? Your eyes are extra blue today. And I don't know if that's because you've got this beautiful lake behind you. What is this with you doing things from the cottage? Like, is this the kind of lifestyle you lead? Does Razzball pay you enough that you can just chill at the cottage all day? Because I'm in here in Phoenix, slaving away, trying to bring you quality fantasy content.
Well, us in Jersey, we're a hard-working culture. We're one of the 13 colony states, so a lot of stuff is old school here. Stuff that we can't reference. It's a lot of this stuff going on.
Yeah, you mean like a lot of unions?
Hey, if you want concrete done, go to Jersey.
All right, let's talk a little bit about. It was the trade deadline, obviously, yesterday in the NFL. Nothing major happened, but there was one interesting trade. Just a particularly fantasy relevant. But let's talk Mark Barron, the 7th overall pick in the 2012 draft, safety with the Buccaneers, gets moved to St. Louis, and they give up a 4th and a 6th rounder. That's kind of nuts because Barron hasn't been very good, and the fact that they're willing to give up on him so soon, that's a lot to pay, don't you think? I mean, this is not going to turn St. Louis's defense from a middle of the pack to elite.
No, I mean, I think it's a good gamble. I mean, he was the 13th overall or the 7th overall pick, 2 years ago?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I just don't think he was gelling into the Tampa 2 defense that Lovey plays down there in Tampa, and I think Fisher might be able to mold him into somebody like a ball-hawking safety that he was in college and maybe turn him into something useful. I mean, for a 4 and a 6, you're basically getting probably a starter and maybe a fringe starter out of the draft. So if you're getting somebody that's usable as maybe like the nickel safety and a special teams guy, then I could see him turning decent value. Maybe not this year. You might not see it because he might not know the whole scheme and schematic of the whole St. Louis defense. But next year, he could be a definite fit and help bolster the back end of that defense.
All right, let me ask you a question. Let's just say, hypothetically, I lived in Jersey, and hypothetically, I had a concrete business. And hypothetically, I had a wad of dollar bills rolled up in my pocket. All very hypothetical, of course. I'd probably be spending a lot of it. I'd be probably spending like a drunken sailor. And that's what I feel St. Louis is doing with these draft picks. I mean, they obviously got a boatload of picks from the RG3 trade. But tell me, who won that trade?
You got to think St. Louis did.
No.
I mean, no? You don't think they are?
Who have they gotten out of that deal?
It's still early yet that everything's gonna develop. I mean, RG3 what has RG3 done in DC besides get him to a playoff game and limp around for a while?
He got them to a playoff game. They were buzzy for a little bit, gave DC something to root for.
But the assets that St. Louis gained are all all the picks that they gained. They have them guys signed for the rookie minimum deal for 5 years. So they have 5 years of stretched out ability from the guys that they've acquired from the RG3 deal to make that deal look a little bit better in their favor. If after next year, if you say, well, they didn't make the playoffs again, then you could start questioning it. But this is only the second year after that. I would probably start questioning it after. Also, look at their division, Nick. They have to play Seattle twice, San Francisco twice, Arizona twice. That's a tough division to even remotely chip out a winning record in.
Yeah, listen, it's the third year. Because RG3 had the great rookie year. Missed last year, came back this year.
Okay, so next year would be the 4th year. So next year would be the 4th year of developing players.
Because I was on your side of the argument. That's what I've been saying. Hey, St. Louis, what a killer trade. I mean, it's Herschel Walker 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an overused expression, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's get to some fantasy before I get yelled at. So talking about some injuries, Jordan Cameron, concussed again. They're saying at least 2 games. He's one of these guys that's kind of like untouchable to me. I can't draft him. He's a Wes Welker. Any guys with a concussion history, I can't acquire, and I can't draft. The reason is that it's so risky. I mean, it's not loaded with risk. It's risk piled on top of risk, and then you fold it, and then you stick it in a turducken. Whoops. That's how much. See, I shouldn't play with my hands, but I'm trying to tell you, that's how risky this scenario is. What do you do if you have Jordan Cameron?
Well, to be honest, if you're relying on Jordan Cameron as your fantasy tight end this year, your record is probably less than 500 already.
Yes.
His fantasy production is just squadouche right now. I mean, it's garbage. You probably drafted him as your number one tight end, and you probably picked up Dwayne Allen right now, and you're probably playing Dwayne Allen over him anyway.
6 touchdowns for Dwayne Allen, 4 away from my prediction at 10. Hey now.
I think I said 9.
Who comes away? I don't want to say a winner in this scenario, but who's going to get more opportunity? Obviously, Josh Gordon's coming back to Cleveland. Is it going to be Hawkins, who's had a great little season? The touchdowns aren't there, but he's been a very useful wide receiver 3. Is it Hawkins? Is it Gordon? Is it maybe even Gabriel?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be Hawkins and probably a little mix of Gabriel in there. Gordon's still 2 weeks away from even playing, and you don't know how well he's going to gel with that offense right away. So you're probably looking at another week into week 12 that he can actually contribute fantasy-wise. But I think Hawkins is definitely the guy you want to jump on if he's there. I think I looked yesterday; he was owned in 41% of fantasy leagues in most formats. He's got to be at least a wide receiver 3 at this point as the only real pass-catching option for the Browns.
Hey, real quick, I forgot to mention this when we were talking trades. Not a lot of big trades. I thought Doug Martin might potentially get moved. Only because, someone sees the ability, the skill there and says, hey, let me take a chance on him. Is he done?
I don't know if he's done. I think he's browbeaten into being a loser right now.
Does he cook like a turducken?
I don't know. I wouldn't touch him if I was on a team. I mean, I'd take him for free. If you're giving up like a seventh round pick or like a conditional pick, 6th or 7th, he's a scheme runner. He needs to be in the right scheme, right time. And I don't think Lovey's system is suiting him at all. He needs to go to like a ground first, pass second team, like a Cleveland. But I don't know where he would go in the NFL right now to actually say, he's valuable enough to give up a pick for, because his fantasy production is crap.
I don't want to hear anyone say he's elusive anymore, okay? You can't be averaging like negative 19 yards per carry and be elusive. I maybe exaggerate at that point. By the way, I'm really excited. It's my first American Thanksgiving this year. I'm going to get to eat turducken. All right, we're going to talk more injuries, including the one I might get eating a whole entire turducken. Right after this. This is Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. I'm Nick Capozzi. He's Rob Langevin. We'll be right back. Back to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. I thought it'd be fun to watch Rob here opening up the curtains so we could get an entire view of the sunset here in New Jersey. I didn't know New Jersey had sunsets. I thought with that kind of layer that just exists over the state, it was just kind of a gray bleak all the time, but what do I know?
Yeah. It just goes to the landfill and then stops is what happens.
I just kidding. I love you, Jersey. Go Rutgers. Okay. Let's talk about D'Angelo Williams' status for Thursday. And, normally I would not bring up the Carolina running back situation because certain things in life I don't like. Going to the doctor, talking to Rob, the Carolina running back situation. These are things that irritate me. I'm just kidding. Carolina running back situation. Jonathan Stewart actually played well last week. I mean, not great, but, against Seattle, although I'm starting to think anyone can run against Seattle, which is kind of scary. How do you see that situation fleshing out rest of the season? Do we even care?
I mean, fantasy-wise, if you're relying on the Carolina running back situation, you're probably desperate, and you probably drafted AP and have another injury there. The good thing about D'Angelo possibly playing is they released Darren Reeves today, who was, their 3rd or 4th running back. Yeah. So, I know it's not fantasy relevant, but it means something to D'Angelo because it means he's actually getting close to playing, and they trust that he's probably going to contribute a little bit. Jonathan Stewart did have a good game, but if you're relying on the Carolina running back situation for fantasy value, then I'm sorry, but thank you for the win and play me.
Yeah, it must be your first year playing if you're heavily invested in Carolina. I was actually just noting down some of the lousy running back by committee or running back disasters in the NFL. New Orleans, traditionally there. St. Louis now. Carolina, Cleveland. I'll tell you what, though. I'm buying Mark Ingram. I've been buying him all season. Mm-hmm. I think now that's his job, at least until PT and Kiri are back. But he looks good, man. And I think, as good as Drew Brees is and as good as that offense has been, that's a team that needs to be able to run the ball when necessary. Not, a little bit here and a little bit there. Yeah. Give it to somebody. Pound that rock.
Yeah.
Speaking of pounding the rock, Brian Quick, busted wing. That stinks. Who's going to get the opportunity there? Chris Gibbons apparently is still on that team. apparently. And
Yeah.
T-Hole was on yesterday. We're talking about waiver wire pickups. He likes Stedman Bailey, who, by the way, go look at his picture on his ESPN mugshot. Funny looking dude. So you like funny looking dude, or you like Chris Givens or Kenny Britt? I mean, man, forget St. Louis. It's not just a running back by committee mess. It's a wide receiver mess.
Yeah,
It's where fantasy goes to die.
it's like all three guys are just nondescript wide receiving guys with hands, is what they are. I mean, I think the real beneficiary is probably going to be a mix of all three guys you mentioned, Stedman Bailey, Givens, and I wouldn't be surprised if the tight end,
Bailey?
Jared Cook.
Oh,
Jared Cook. I think Jared Cook would probably see a little uptake if he can catch the ball. I mean, he's looked awful at trying to actually attempt to catch the ball. He looks like Stonehands from Necessary Roughness.
And then Kendricks gets involved. Just when you think you got something going, Kendricks gets involved.
Yeah.
What a mess. What a
Yeah.
mess. All right, speaking of messy, that's what I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to be this year. I thought they were actually be pretty bad. Alex Smith, he's always underrated, and I think it's because he's vanilla. He's not. Actually, I shouldn't say it. I take that back, vanilla. You as a flavor are underrated. Is it because it's just kind of plain looking? Vanilla is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla is a wonderful thing. So, you know what? I'm not going to say that about Alex Smith. You're not vanilla. You're just dull. However, Kansas City's been winning. They've been running real well. Their defensive line's kept them in games playing real well. They're 4-3. They have an outside shot at the playoffs. It's not crazy. But talk to me about Alex Smith's shoulder injury, because a lot of people are like, man, now Smith is out. Do I pick up Eli this week? Do I got to go with Vic, Tannehill? Although you got bye week issues there. So Alex Smith, what's the dealio?
I mean, he's if you're trying to roster him, he would be a fantasy bye week possibility anyway, because these next 3 weeks get kind of hairy for quarterback situations. He's basically, like you said, I mean, not to insult vanilla, but the reason that vanilla gets a bad name is because vanilla cuts with everything. It's like ginger ale. Nobody really likes ginger ale, but if you add something else to ginger ale is awesome.
That's terrible. You know what?
Like
Take
vanilla.
that back. No. Ginger ale is wonderful on its own.
Oh, I know it is, but so is vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
But say if you add root beer to vanilla ice cream, see?
You know what's big down here in Phoenix? Frozen
Sand?
custard. Yeah,
Cactus.
sand, cacti.
Cactus.
Frozen custard, man. It's like
Really?
you can't get ice cream around here. It's like, oh, we have frozen custard. I think it's a Midwest thing that's like slowly. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm off topic.
That's about as dumb as Canada celebrating Thanksgiving in September.
Thanksgiving is about the end of harvest. We harvest in October in Canada because it gets colder. Okay, why can't you get that into your American head, man?
Say colder again. Everybody in America loves that accent.
Colder? Do I have an accent when I say that? Man, we're being
throw an egg in there.
We're being very goofy. Come on, back on track. Focus.
Okay.
Alex Smith.
Mind meld. He's not very good fantasy wise. He's a good fill-in, which he's now hurt, so you're probably avoiding that situation. I'd probably look to Eli, Tannehill. I'd probably avoid Vic because the Jets are a disaster. Anybody else in that group that's in your waiver, on your waivers, send me a message at Smokey_Loogie at Twitter and I'll answer it.
Would you pick up Colt McCoy?
He didn't look awesome yesterday, but he did enough to win the game. He's a game manager under a managing thumb. Yesterday is what it was. They basically limited. What I was reading about the Washington, they basically cut their playbook in like a third for Colt McCoy. So
vanilla.
He's like.
It was a marketing genius that came up with French vanilla, right? Because that's how you classy it up. Let's call it French vanilla.
Or vanilla bean.
Yeah, vanilla bean. Hey, we got time to talk about Tony Romo here. Tony Romo has a back contusion, which is a fancy word for he's got a bruise, man. He took it to the back, got a bruise. It's not related to the off-season surgery, so that's good news. Do we really care here?
I don't think it's any concern. Romo's been proven to be a gamer, and he plays hurt. Played with rib injury last year. He had off-season back surgery, and he's playing well this year. I don't see it as being concerned. He's a gamer.
I think he's one of those guys that post-career, we're going to have a lot more respect for him than we do during his career.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Okay, listen, you want to take a break? Go have some vanilla ice cream?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vanilla frozen custard? All right, let's do that. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to poke the bear some more. I call Chip Bear. Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Welcome back to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network, the Vanilla Edition. I'm Nick Capozzi. He is Rob Langevin, a.k.a. Smokey_Loogie. Well, a.k.a. Smokey, but yeah, I'm trying to amalgamate, chop it up, dice it up, make a nice little sauce. I'll play a little game with you here, off the cuff, Robbie.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's play, what would you trade this guy for?
Okay.
See how long I spent working on the name for this segment?
Wow. It's original. Copyright that quick. TM.
Sorry, I've been sick, man. I've been sick. I just trying to make it happen. All right. What would you trade? I want to give this guy props because he brought it up to me today. You know what? Actually, hold on one sec, bro. Here, you talk about something for a sec. Okay, actually, no. Let's do it this way. What would you trade LaShawn McCoy for? And the reason I ask is because here, it's my man. I won't give his name away. It's the Bears 4RS on Twitter. Talks to me all the time. Always has questions. Happy to answer. You can do that at Nick Capozzi. I'll answer for you. And he's talking. He's desperate for a quarterback, so he wanted to go and trade LaShawn McCoy. Now he's got Oliver on his bench. He has Hillman. He's got Mark Ingram. I said, don't. You need to hold on to Shady because he's like 2-6 or something. So you can't trade LaShawn McCoy. Maybe you can flip an Oliver for a Matthew Stafford, who's a little bit kind of underperforming versus what the expectation was with Calvin coming back soon. But what would it take to get LaShawn McCoy off of you in a deal right now?
I'd probably be looking for a running back that is probably equally as inept at sucking right now as McCoy is for fantasy, plus probably a wide receiver 1 is what it would take. So I would probably trade McCoy for, say, maybe like a Brandon Marshall and a running back of equal value right now to McCoy. Right now. I'm not talking about what McCoy could be. I'm talking about right now what McCoy could be.
So like a Brandon Marshall and an Oliver?
I'd probably look above Oliver. I'd probably maybe like a Rashad Jennings.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, you know what? That's a guy, because he's still a week or two away at least. And no one's really talking about Rashad Jennings. He could be an interesting get. If you're actually stuck at running back, think about going to get him off of someone who's maybe kind of starting to slide out of it. Tell him you buy him a vanilla ice cream custard cone. What would you trade? Okay, you just mentioned B. Marsh, and this is a guy who's been an unmitigated disaster the last 4 or 5 weeks. What would you deal Brandon Marshall for?
You're going to try to maximize on value there only because his name still is Brandon Marshall. But the problem with Brandon Marshall is right now, he's sad. He's just sad in that offense. He's just not happy with Cutler. He's just not happy with Trestman. And guys like that, when they pout, pouting is bad for fantasy. It's just bad.
Yeah.
If you're looking to trade for Marshall, you're probably looking for a two for one because you want to maximize probably the wide receiver position with to take away from the loss of Marshall, plus maybe a wide running back 2. So you're probably looking at maybe like a Reuben Randall and somebody lesser on the running back front that's probably either in a committee situation or that's been struggling themselves. I would probably do it. What about an Oliver and Reuben Randall for Brandon Marshall?
Yeah, I could see that. I'm just so worried about the rebound. I'm worried too, even with all this drama that's going on in Chicago, if maybe he's hiding an injury.
Either that or he's overworked from the Showtime gig. I don't know. He's just pouting. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot he was doing that. It's because I'm busy, watching football on Sundays, not Showtime. I'm just kidding.
He shows on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. That's when I'm watching all my tape, man. I tape all the games. I rewatch everything, buddy. I'm always working.
Really?
Okay. Would you trade for Michael Floyd right now? The reason I ask is that I was huge. You saw, dude, all those drafts we did on the road. I had Michael Floyd on every single one of my teams. Mm-hmm. And what really bothered me, what really got my goat, what really spilled my vanilla frozen custard was this week, 4 targets, 2 were easily catchable. He basically... it wasn't even a drop. You just got to kind of close your hands. And John Brown's emerging, and I like John Brown a lot. I mean, I was surprised, actually, that more people weren't kind of big on him this week as a waiver wire pickup. This guy is wicked fast, and that's, in this Bruce Arians offense, an advantage because Floyd and Fitzgerald are not fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I am worried about Floyd rest of the season. What would you pay for Floyd right now?
Honest answer, nothing. I wouldn't touch him.
Okay.
If actually looking for wide receiver help, he'd probably be the last place I would look.
Really?
The situation there with Brown emerging, and Fitzgerald's not that slow. He outran everybody on that 80-yard touchdown run. I hate to break everybody's news. He outran 3 guys.
No,
so.
I know, but he's well. Okay. On that, here you go. And again, why John Brown is so good on that team. John Brown, he didn't wind up needing him, but he sprinted up.
Mm-hmm.
He was right there ready to block if necessary.
Yeah, he caught him.
Mm-hmm. He totally did.
Yeah.
So love me some John Brown.
Yeah, I like John Brown. He just got compared by somebody in the know to Marvin Harrison.
Come on, man.
I swear to God, look it up on Twitter. I can't remember who did it. It was somebody in the Colts front office, like from a couple years ago. It might have been Bill Polian, to be honest with you. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But somebody compared them.
I'll be honest with you. I did hear something about that, so I'm not gonna knock you.
Yeah, but if I was looking to trade for a wide receiver, I would not look at Michael Floyd's direction at all. I would probably look at somebody who's not looking at the secret numbers of fantasy football, like the red zone, opportunities and stuff. That's why Ruben Randall is so underrated right now. Everybody's all over Odell Beckham because he caught 2 touchdowns and he's the new face on the street. But look at Ruben Randall. He's the second red zone target in the NFL.
Yeah, fair. Real quick, we got about 30 seconds here. You're probably not trading DeMarco Murray, but if you are a little bit pessimistic on him like I am, only because of the injury history, and you know something is coming, that truck is around the corner, what would it take to get Murray off you right now?
Well, it's funny. I actually just traded him last week, and I traded him and Kendall Wright, and I got Le'Veon Bell and Kelvin Benjamin.
There you go. Do it. I love Bell.
Oh, I love him too.
So just think about it. I know DeMarco Murray, you're like, oh, he might set a record this year. It's awesome. It's awesome. No question. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, hey, he's going to get hurt. But I'm telling you, I see that truck. It's coming down the road. It's about to turn left. Right into DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Whap. What do you call that in Jersey?
An accident.
All right.
An accident.
Thanks, Rob. This is Razzball Radio Fantasy Sports Network. We'll be back tomorrow with more shenanigans, plus some fantasy. It's Wednesday. Show us a hump day show. We have fun in it. Talk to you later. Bye.